I'm here.
Hey, it is Sunday, so do you know what that means? We are live with Learning with Lynn. So I'm Lynn Huber.
And I'm Richard.
And this is Richard. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. It is Sunday night. If you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so we know you were here. And hey, Anitra, good to see you. I've been seeing you a lot lately. So, let me move some things around here. And let's see, there we go. We're going to share my screen. Okay, so now you can see my screen. This is my blog, onlinebeautybiz.com. And if you're brand new, you'll want to click on Getting Started up here, up at the top, because it has everything you need to get started and teach you how to get going. And if you're not already receiving emails from me, be sure to sign up to receive the newsletter. And if you sign up, you'll get my recruiting flyers. You'll get a pack of my best recruiting flyers that you can download and print off. And then right underneath that is a search. So if you ever need to know something, you can just click on search. And hopefully you'll be able to find it in here. And then we have categories under that. So if you're looking for something like leadership or getting started or Facebook parties, you can find them in here in the categories. So today we're going to talk about prospecting for new customers and recruits in office buildings. Anitra, it's good to be seen. Awesome. I know, you've just been following me. But anyway, so this one just happens to be right here. So we're just going to click on this, prospecting for new customers and recruits in office buildings. So I know that we are still pretty much stuck in this coronavirus thing. Since everybody is all over the country, we're in different levels of being open. Utah is pretty much open. We're in what they call yellow. And they're allowing everything to be open, but they shouldn't be because we're the number 2 highest right now in cases and increase in the United States. Utah is number 2. The only state that's above it is, I think it's South Carolina. So, but everybody's in different areas, have different rules as far as social distancing and as far as going out and about. And I mean, I don't feel like we can just talk about coronavirus all the time. So today we're just going to talk about finding new recruits in office buildings and customers and recruits in office buildings. And so even if you can't do this now, it's something you can learn about and you put it in your toolbox so that as soon as it is a good time to be able to do it, you can do it. Although I think you've been going into office buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for the most part, you could probably still go into office buildings. I would have a mask on, but that's your call, right? So talking about prospecting for new recruits, I don't know why I keep saying that, for customers and recruits. One of the biggest challenges for an Avon representative, especially if you're just getting started, is getting the courage to approach people about your business. Because bottom line is you can hit up your friends and family all you want, and they'll probably help you get started in most cases. Hi, Rick and Tina. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. So in most cases, your friends and your family will probably help you get started, but they aren't going to keep your business going. They're just if they place an order with you, in most cases, it's like, okay, I'm just supporting you and I'll place an order. But they're not going to place an order every campaign, right? Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. So in order to build your business, you need to get outside of your friends and family. So you start with your list. When we first get you signed up to sell Avon and we teach you how to get started, we teach you to make a list of everybody you know. And you're going to work through that list, but you got to get past that list if you really want to grow a business. So one of the ways that you can do that is customers in office buildings, right? So like I said, it might be hard learning how to talk to people, especially if you're new or if you're not used to it, but it's not as difficult as you think. So once you get some practice, you'll be able to do this. It's just a matter of getting some practice, and as soon as you try it a couple of times, you're going to find out it's not as bad as you think, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Because what's going to happen, this happens for me and it happens for Richard. We're no different. Is we go in an office building or we go anywhere and we meet somebody and we say the wrong thing. And then we go back to our car and we go, why did I say that? Shh, I shouldn't have said that. Well, guess what? We learned, right? So next time we don't say that. And that's how we learn. And so you just have to do it. So, gaining new customers is the lifeblood of your business, and introducing your product to people is an essential skill that you have to learn. And sometimes you just have to learn. So one way to do this is what we talk about prospecting. And I'm going to just back up a second. We teach, and the reason I'm telling you this is because we're going to build on this in the upcoming weeks, but we teach that really there's 4 things you need to do to have a successful business. The first one is prospecting for new customers and new recruits. And then and getting their contact information, giving them a brochure, whether it's digital or in person, and getting their contact information and following up with them. But so the first one is prospecting. The second one is getting every person on your list a brochure every campaign. Whether you mail them, whether you drive around and deliver them, whether you give them a digital brochure, you text it to them, email them, whatever, every single person on your list should get a brochure every single campaign. And then every single one of those people that you gave a brochure to should get a follow-up every campaign. And then number 4 is you take the order. So they either order online and Avon ships to them, or they order with you and you take the order and you deliver to them, right? And then you start all over again and you prospect, and then you get a brochure in everybody's hands, and then you follow up, and then you take the order. And it's just wash, rinse, and repeat. It's just that simple. Now, when you first start, you might have 10 people that you gave a brochure to and 10 people that you have to follow up with. As you grow, if you're doing getting 3 names a day, that's say 5 days a week, that means your second week, you'd have your 10 you started with plus 15 more, that's 25 that you need to get books to now every campaign and do follow-ups with. And if you continue to do 3 people a day, that's going to be another 15 on top of that is 35, 40. You see what I'm saying? It's going to grow, and it's going to end up in the hundreds. And so over time, we're going to be teaching you about systems, about all different ways to manage those and to make sure that you can do those 4 things. But those 4 things is what's the most important. And so the first one is prospecting, and office buildings is just one way to prospect. So it falls into that number 1 category. It's finding new people, right? So, so what I do is, and I've used this to build my business, and it's really done well for me, is what I do is I take a basket, and I used to actually take, in the olden days, back when we were in Ventura 10 years ago, I would take a basket and I would put like all kinds of stuff in it, like lip balms and anything I could buy out of the outlet for less than $1. Back then, at the time, I was doing $7,000 a campaign, so I was getting 50% off. So whatever I could get for cheap, I was putting in that basket. These days, it's mostly samples. These days, I mostly put samples in, but I fill a basket with samples, and I get a notebook. I take a notebook and I write at the top, such and such office building and the address, right? And then I write on the first line of the notebook, I write 101. That might be the number of the, actually I start at the top. We learned, start at the top of the building and work down. That way, if you get asked to leave, it looks like you're leaving and you just go to the next floor, whereas you don't want to go up, right? So just start at the top. So say it's a 5-story building and you're at the 5th floor, and so your first one you're going to write it here is 501. And then you're going to go in and you're going to say, hi, here's like the thing right here. Simply say something along the lines of, hi, my name's Lynn Huber. I'm your local Avon representative. I was just passing through and wanted to stop in, introduce myself, and leave a gift for you. So go ahead and look through these samples and see what interests you. And let them pick through your basket, and you kind of make small talk with them. And then let them look through it, you know, and in most cases, the receptionist is going to be pretty happy to get your gift and to accept it. And they may even ask you about your products, and try to get the receptionist's name. And then, you know, if you're talking, if she asks about the products, and that's the ideal scenario. And if she's not interested, just say thank you and leave. No hard feelings, right? Avon's not for anyone. So then you go outside the office. Now you walk out, you've got your notebook. Now next to number 501, you're going to write the name, Anitra. The receptionist, right? Her name's Anitra. And then I'm going to say, interested, excited, left 5 books. Or if she said no, I'll say not interested. Okay? That way I know when I come back, I don't need to go to that office if they're not interested. But I kind of just write if they're excited or whatever. So Anitra says, I got a new customer when we did my girl's registration at school. She placed a $115 order on my e-store direct delivery and offered to let me put a book in the teacher's lounge. The principal is even going to put my info in the school newsletter.
Awesome.
How cool is that? That is amazing, Anitra. See what happens when you're not afraid to ask? Hi, Melissa. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So back to my office. So then I go to the next one, and I go to 502, and I write 502, and then I just got the notebook under my arm or whatever, and I walk in, and I go, hi, I'm Lynn Huber. I'm your local Avon representative, just passing through and wanted to stop in and offer you some samples. Go ahead and look through and see what you like. And the same thing. And then after you and have a little conversation with her, usually they're pretty happy to see you. Then afterwards, you can write 502, Mary left 4 books, because you might say, is it okay if I leave books for the people in your office? How many books do you think you could use? They might tell you 3, they might tell you 2, they might tell you 5, whatever. And if you say that you made a note and you said, I left 5 books or I left 3 books or whatever, then and you're just going to build that route. You're just going to keep writing down on your list, and you'll go through the whole 5th floor, and then you go down to the 4th floor and you'll do the same thing, and then you go down to the 3rd floor and so on. Now, couple of things. Now, you can get an idea of how many brochures that you can leave with her just by talking with her. And then make sure you get her contact information so you can follow up in a couple of days. Now, when you're doing offices, I don't necessarily think it's as important that you follow up in a couple of days. Maybe after the first one might not be a bad idea, especially if you're just getting started and you need some sales, right? It might not be a bad idea to just give her a call 2 or 3 days later and say, hey, just checking back to see if anybody in your office wanted anything. But for me, what I do is I say something to the effect of, okay, hey, thanks for letting me introduce myself. I'll be back in 2 weeks with the next brochure, is what I say. And then I develop this route, and then I go back to that office building every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday or every other Tuesday or whatever. And so if they call you or email you or whatever and give you an order, in the meantime, you place that order. And then the next time when you go back with the new books, you would be delivering the order at the same time. So it's just like every other week, you get into a habit. At the beginning, it might be a little more, you might have to go more often because you might need to, deliver an order outside of your regular 2 weeks or whatever, but you get it kind of going in a routine. And so every 2 weeks. And so for them, I don't feel it's as important to do the follow-up, because you're just going to come back in 2 weeks and you're going to give them a new book, and that's going to remind them, right? And then you can, a lot of times when we get this going, not with every single office, it doesn't work that way, but with some of the offices, the people that are interested, we get it going, and we go to deliver the brochures, and the receptionist is saying, oh, here, I have 3 orders for you, So it's just a matter of getting that going. And Richard, he does this with me too. The one thing that the reason why it really helps, and I actually did this by accident. I started at the top, and then over time I learned it was the best way. Started at the top floor, because Richard and I decided to go to a hospital one day because we knew that nurses liked books. Nurses love Avon, right? So we went to the hospital, and we just happened to, again, start at the top floor, and we went around to the nurses' stations, and we said, hey, same thing. Hi, we're with Avon. We just want to bring you some gifts. Can I drop off a couple of brochures? And I think we were at, 3rd floor or something, and one of the nurses says, you can't be here. And she was kind of nasty, and we said, okay, no problem, we'll leave. And we went to leave, and she saw us going down the stairs, right? So she just assumed we were leaving, but we really just went to the next floor and just kept going. And so if we were going up the stairs, then she would question that. And the other thing that I have found, there are some nasty people out there, and if they are, you just let that roll off of you. But most of the time when somebody says you can't be here or you can't do this, I found out later that they're already an Avon representative, and you're encroaching on their territory, but they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to get nasty about it. So it just happens, right?
I'm just going to say right now, the only obstacles you may run into, which I've run into, is hospitals are kind of off limits right now, because when you go in,
sure.
they're checking your temperature, the whole thing. So it would be kind of awkward to go into any kind of hospital. But sometimes we can go into some offices that have 6 or 8 or 10 or 15 doctor's offices in a building. They don't have the restrictions like that. You may have to have a mask on, is all. But if you're going to hospitals, that may be kind of out of limits right now until this COVID is over with.
Yeah, and so I put up here, focus on businesses that have receptionists such as real estate offices, doctor's offices, like Richard said, hair salons, nail salons, insurance agencies, places like that. Getting away from the hospital. I probably wouldn't even try the hospital right now, because they're pretty locked down too. They won't even let you go in. If your husband's having a heart attack, you can't go in with them. They won't even let you come in the hospital. My friend John, his partner was having appendicitis, and they wouldn't let John in the hospital. Well, his partner had to go have surgery without John there, So right now, hospitals are probably off the table, but you never know down the road. And even doctors' offices might be a little bit weird right now with coronavirus, but after the coronavirus is over, God knows when that's going to be, that might be okay. But if you go with offices like real estate offices or hair salons or nail salons or insurance agencies or any kind of offices like that, you might do better right now. So that's one way. And so just develop a route. And so I might have these 2 buildings that I would do on Tuesday, every other Tuesday, and then I'd have these 2 buildings that I did every other Wednesday, and then I would have a couple more buildings that I would do the opposite Tuesdays. So it's, every other Tuesday, but the opposite Tuesday, and every other Wednesday, the opposite Wednesday. When I left my business, when I left my job, I was making really good money. I was director of marketing for a food distributor, and I was terrified that now I was going to be responsible for making my own income, even though I was already doing well with Avon. Avon allowed us to become debt-free and allowed me to be able to quit my job, but I was terrified because I was used to having that paycheck. And so that's what I did. The first thing I did was I developed a route, because I knew that I had to have a reason to get up in the morning. I had to force myself to get out of bed and go to work. And it really made a huge difference for me. Karen, any suggestions for when you get a lot of orders and you don't have the money to pay up front for them? Karen, if a customer gives you a list of things they want without money, that's a wish list. If they give you money, that's an order. That's Lisa Wilbur says that, but you know what? It's true. It's true. When a customer calls you with an order, you say, this is what you say. You say, okay, that will be $79.43. How would you like to pay for that? And then your customer says, well, my old Avon lady let me pay when I delivered. And your answer is going to be, oh, yeah, I remember when Avon used to do that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So how did you want to pay for it? And if it has to be, if it's an office, maybe you might have to go by the office and pick up a check, right? But if you have Square, if you have Square, and Square is free, if you need a link, if somebody refers you to Square, you can get $1,000 of processing for free. So don't just go to Square and sign up. If you need a link, I can give you one. I think if you're on Rick and Tina's team, they can give you one. I don't know who else might have it, but don't just go to Square and sign up. If somebody refers you, the way Square works is that if I refer you, then both you and I get $1,000 in free processing, which is pretty cool. But anyway, if you have Square, you can just email them. From your Square app, you can email them an invoice and they can pay it. And then it is direct deposited into your bank. You can do the same thing with PayPal. You can have them PayPal you the money. You can do Venmo. You can have them Venmo you the money. But if they don't pay for it, it's not an order yet. And I know Avon's always been able to have, collect the money when you deliver the products. But you know what? Tupperware doesn't. Mary Kay doesn't. Scentsy doesn't. Every other company out there, you pay for it when you order it. And now Avon is no different than anybody else. That's really just how it is. And there's no reason to get uptight about it. It just is what it is. So anyway, I'm sorry, Karen. I hope you don't feel like I was beating you up. It's just I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Yeah, but you
this.
just want to get the money because you want to leverage their money, not yours. So
and then Anitra says I use Venmo, and then Erin says Square is good and Venmo, love Venmo. And then Karen says, okay, thank you. I mean, from an office. I had a bulk order, but at the time I had the money for it. I would do the same thing with an office. I would say, can I email you an invoice? That might be the easiest. Use that, or ask them if they can Venmo it to you or whatever. And like worst case scenario, then you say, I'll pick it up. Leave the check by the receptionist and I'll pick it up. Something like that. Not at all. She says, no, not at all. Okay, good. At least she doesn't feel like I'm picking on her. So another thing you can do with office buildings is you can throw an office party. So a couple of things. If you have a receptionist that's really helpful to you and that collects orders for you and collects money and all that, well, for one thing, you might want to offer her the opportunity to become a representative, because then she can make the money from the people in her office. Right? Another thing you can do is ask her if she'd be interested in booking a party. So then you can do an online party, it doesn't matter, or you can do an office party like on their lunch hour. So, a lot of times, a lot of office workers like this. It's just an office party in which, the receptionist can be your host, and you'd bring a basket of your product along with some brochures. Now, you're not going to set it up like a full-on party because you don't have a lot of time and you're just in their lunchroom or whatever. But, just bring some products that you can show or that they can try, and have it in the break room or in the common area of the office. So here's some tips for that. Ask the employee to get permission from her manager or supervisor to host the party during the lunch hour. Just make sure, you don't necessarily have to say, will you get permission, but you just want to make sure that it's okay for that she's not going to get in trouble for that, or whatever. You're not going to cause problem for her. Have the hostess invite her coworkers, and then have the hostess remind them before the day, so they can also collect orders from anyone who can't make it that day. And just arrive about 20 minutes or so before the party's supposed to start. And then set up with some display areas, and you can have cash and carry items if you have inventory. You don't want to take up the time as you would for a full in-home party, because there's just not enough time for that, because you need to be in and out of there probably within, could be half an hour, could be an hour. It just depends on the situation in the office, but typically they don't want you staying in there too long, right? So then give a quick demonstration, overview of your product, answer any questions, invite the guests to look at any items that you have on hand. If you have any brochures, take the orders immediately, if possible. But even if they don't give you orders right away, make sure everybody has a catalog. And then be sure to discuss hostess benefits, so maybe some of those other people might want to book a party at their home or even a Facebook party or whatever. And as well as sharing the business opportunity, make sure they all know that, hey, you can sign up right now. It's free. You can make some money. And especially around the holidays, because it's a convenient way to pick up gifts. So let's see what we got here. Okay, Karen says, great idea. And Erin says, I do have a bit of cash and carry. Awesome. So I have one other tip about offices. This is something my good friend Tom Schreider, Big Al Schreider, teaches. Big Al Schreider. He is amazing. He teaches network marketing. And this is something that works really well for Avon, is that you can talk to men in offices and you can say, do you like to do gift shopping? Most men hate gift shopping. They don't know what to buy for their wife. They are stressing about it. They're like, or their girlfriend or whatever. And they finally maybe go into the store at the last minute when it's already their birthday, and they'll buy the first thing they see because they just don't know what to buy, right? So you can tell these men that you would do, if they give you the information of the people that they want to buy gifts for, that you will do their gift shopping for them. And get an idea from them how much they would like to spend, and then you can, and kind of who they are, how old they are, whatever. I mean, so you can pick decent presents for them, and then you can like say they say, I'm going to spend $50, then you make a basket for them, or you wrap a present for them worth $50. You can buy Avon products and fill that present, and you do that gift shopping for them. And to do it even better, you deliver that to the man in his office. Because what happens is the other men in the office, they're going, what's that? What's that? That person brought you a present. And then the guy says, yeah, she helped me buy a present for my wife. And all of a sudden, I mean, if you do this right, you seriously could have all the men in the office. Like if you're going to a lawyer office, legal office, you seriously could be doing all the men who are lawyers in their office. You could be buying their presents for them, for their wives, for their girlfriends, for their daughters. You could ask them, what dates they would like to have presents for. Maybe it might be Mother's Day or Valentine's Day or birthday. There's all different kinds of things. And so it's just a great way for you to become a resource, a valuable resource for that man. And hey, it could be for women too. Don't get me wrong. Women, especially really busy executives, they like having people to do their shopping for them too, right?
Yeah, they're coming out with a whole new men's line, so it's going to be kind of cool. So the women could get a gift, men's set for men.
Yeah, we're coming out with some cool kids line too.
Mm-hmm.
So really, that's it. So this is just something that you can do while you're out and about running errands. You could literally, if you're going to do, obviously the office party is something that you might talk about when you're going into the office and you're talking to people, but kind of developing an office route and going around and visiting people in offices and developing that route, that's something that could just be part of your day. It doesn't even take a long time. I used to do, Richard's doing it now, but I used to do 5 or 6 office buildings, and it would only take me like 2 hours. And then I'd be done, and I will have touched a lot of people, maybe given out 100 books or 200 books. And but the biggest thing is if, as wherever possible, get a name, get phone number, get follow-up. Be sure to make those notes in your notebook. Be sure that you have, 100 South Main, such and such office building, office number 501, not interested. Office number 502, left 3 books. Betsy is the receptionist. Office number 503, because then in 2 weeks when you go back with your notebook, okay, I don't need to go to 501, they're not interested. I'll go to 502 and I just need to deliver 3 brochures. So then you walk into 502 and you go, hi Betsy, it's just me, Lynn. I'm just coming to bring you your new brochures. And she says, okay, thank you. And you wave at her and you leave. That's really how easy it is. And then you just do that every 2 weeks. And it might take you 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times of going there before you really start getting anything. But people in the office will slowly start to get used to you coming in. They'll get used to you being there every 2 weeks, and you will start getting orders as long as you stay on top of it, and as long as they know that they can expect you at the same time, same place, every 2 weeks. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say most of the time it's just really quick in the office because they're busy. A lot of times they have customers at the desk or whatever, so you wait a few minutes, and then when they're gone, you just walk up to the desk and say, hey, it's just Richard. I'm just back. Drop off 3 books to you, Mary. And she says, oh, thanks. And I said, don't forget to take a look right on the front cover. They have a brand new vitamin C out, or just whatever. Just give her a quick, it's like 15-second blurb, and you hand them the books and say, hey, see ya, give me a call if you need anything. Take care, have a good week.
Yeah.
It's usually quick and go.
Anitra says, I can't wait to make Matt try that new men's line.
New men's line, yeah.
Yeah, I ordered demos of the new men's line. And plus they have that brand new one that's a little more expensive that they've been promoting. It's on our website, but it's not in the book yet. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I can't even remember what it's called, Venmo or something.
Vitro or something.
I can't remember.
It's kind of neat.
But then there's also the other new men's line that's less expensive that is in our What's New that I just ordered with my campaign 14 order. So that's what we have for you guys this week. Do we have any questions or anything? Looks like we pretty much just have that. It doesn't look like we really have any questions. So next week is Father's Day, so we're going to be dark next week. So today is the 14th. Next week is the 21st. So we'll be dark. We'll be back on the 28th, same time, same place. And be sure to mark your calendars because I have something really exciting that I'm working on that I'm hoping to release on that date that I'm hoping to kick off. So I'm working hard on it. Hope to have that ready for you on the 28th. So be sure to mark your calendars. Do you have anything? Let's bring this back. Let's go back to, boom. Okay, back to us. So I want to thank you guys for being here, and please stay safe. So many people are getting sick. I just read this morning about a 23-year and a 25-year-old that got really sick with this COVID right here in Utah. So just stay safe, but don't let this derail you. Keep moving forward with your business. Wear your mask, and we're gonna get through this.
Yep. Find safe workarounds and keep growing your business.
Sales are up right now for me. I don't know about you, but our sales are up. Yeah. So we're not stopping at all. Anyway, that's all we have today. I hope you have a great evening. Have a great week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.